Namaste and welcome back to Mindful Serenity Yoga or Waking Up in a Busy World. And I'm Nancy. We are going to continue answering questions from the jar. And I'm going to be honest that I've already pulled a question out and I attempted to answer it a couple of times, but came up with some technical interference, you might say. So I'm going to use the same question that I pulled out. Now, I've been doing this exercise for almost over a year or close to a year, and I do it mostly for my own benefit. I want to assimilate all this wonderful knowledge that I'm picking up from reading scriptures, studying texts, my own yoga practice and sadhana, from all I'm learning from wise masters that I listen to and study under, and as well as from my own inner reflection. So I really want to share what I learn, not just for your benefit, mostly probably for my own, because it helps me to understand better and to make this learning a part of my daily life. Now, I want to stress again that I am no guru or no master, nor do I have any desire to be such. I am just a learner like many of you, and I learn better from teaching. So the teaching part of this is helping me to learn what I so desperately want to learn so that I can make the changes in my life that I so desperately want to make. So the question that I had pulled out earlier was, is focusing on a future goal or dreaming really that problematic? Is focusing on a future goal or dreaming about the future really that problematic? So I'm going to set my timer, take a deep breath, and I will try to answer that question again to see if I can get through this 10 minutes without another interruption. Deep breath in. Pause and exhale. Man, that just anchors us, doesn't it? A deep breath. It just brings us right back to the here and now and to our bodies so that we're answering the questions not from our egoic idea that we know everything, but from the purest and deepest part of ourselves. As kooky and woo-woo as that may sound. When you get to be my age and you've practiced yoga as much as I do, you realize that is not woo-woo, but just practical truth. Anyway, so is it problematic to focus on the future and to fantasize or dream about certain things? I'm going to say yes and no to that question. It is problematic if we are escaping our present moment by focusing on the future goal or focusing on something, a dream of something being other than the way it is right now. It becomes problematic then. It's also problematic if this dream or goal focuses on and feeds this idea we have of a separate little me. It becomes problematic to what is reality and what is truth and why we're here, if you want to use those big technical terms. It isn't problematic if it is done in the essence of play, without attachment or identification with the little me when we wish or dream the future, and if it doesn't take us away from the reality that now is truly the only time there is. There is no future. I know that sounds kind of grave, but when you think about it, in reality, there really isn't, right? The future is just a mental concept. It's something we've created. When we think of the future, we're thinking of tomorrow, for example. But you go to bed tonight, you wake up in tomorrow, and what's tomorrow? It's not tomorrow, it's today. So we never really grasp or catch on to or hold on to the future. It is always a step away. It's a mental concept, a projection of a time other than now. And even time itself is a projection, but we won't get into that right now. So is it problematic? Like I said, it's problematic if it is used to escape the here and now. Many of us may be experiencing challenges in our here and now, and I want to first begin by making the distinction between a challenge and so-called pain and life suffering. Now, the Buddha said that all life is suffering, right? We suffer in life. Suffering is different than challenge and pain. It's different from experiencing the situations that are unfolding in front of us, okay? The suffering comes with what our mind does with the experiences we are experiencing. So say, for example, you have the life situation of not being financially well off, and you may be struggling to pay the bills and struggling to pay the mortgage. That is the reality of the life event unfolding in front of you. It causes emotional pain. It causes or creates a sense of challenge. But it in itself is not suffering. The suffering occurs when we resist what life is giving us. When we resist that situation that you're going through by saying it's, first of all, judging it by saying it's bad, wrong, or shouldn't be, and then wanting to avoid it. And we avoid in several different ways. We deal with the emotional, painful energy that our body uses in reaction to that event that's out there, that is the reality of our life circumstance right now, in a variety of ways. We will deny it. We'll say, oh, no, that can't be happening. We will judge it, like I said, as bad, good, bad, wrong, shouldn't be. We'll put our hands up and resist it and say, no, I'm not letting that into my psyche. I don't want that in here. I don't want that energy in here. We may suppress and repress. What we are doing in all those cases is we are resisting. We are saying to life, no, I don't like what you gave me. I don't like what you're doing, so I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to allow it into my experience. I'm not going to experience it. And when we do that, we may think we're pushing it away, but we're actually stuffing it inside. It stays within us. What we resist persists. What we push away, we're actually stuffing away inside ourselves. It doesn't go away. It's in there. So when I resist the energy that's circulating, or that's circulating around this life event of not having money, by saying, no, I don't want it like that, I am actually stuffing that inside me. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not handling it. I am repressing it and suppressing it. And so I have this big blockage inside me that says, no, don't want that, not good. I'm not dealing with it. When we do that, we may say, I want life to be other than what it is right now. Well, we can't change what happened. We can't change what it is right now. So a lot of times we'll use this goal setting in an unhealthy way, in a problematic way, by helping us to escape the reality of what is right now. I may set goals. I'm going to be rich. I am going to have so much money in my account at such and such a time. We fantasize about being rich. We fantasize about what it would be like to have that money. And we end up, instead of living and embracing this life as it is right now, enjoying the only time there is, right? Because the future isn't real. We are projecting outside our nows into a time that will never come. We're living in our heads. We're not experiencing life in this moment in our bodies, with our breath, with the reality of what is. We are not accepting and honoring reality. We are not accepting and honoring life. We are resisting and rejecting life. Now, that seems like a very harsh thing to do, but that is actually what we're doing when we project onto the future. Too much, if we do it in an unhealthy way. Now, what part of us is projecting? It's the little me. It's this psyche that we've developed that is actually an accumulation of all the things we've collected, memories and events we've collected over the years, and all our dislikes, our likes, our preferences, our judgments, our labeling. And we are so identified with that me, that psyche, so we feel and are attached to all the events that are occurring around us. And it is that me that is projecting into the future, wanting things other than what they are. Beneath this me is the essence of who we truly are. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the Shakti flow, the energy flow. You can call it spirit, soul, consciousness, Atman. I don't care what you call it. But there is an essence, a level of consciousness beneath this me that is real, The little me is a mental concept we created. The essence behind it is real. It is that essence's purpose here to experience life as it is. So as long as I'm projecting out and towards the future and dreaming and putting all my mental energies towards the time that will never come, I'm not allowing this consciousness to experience what is in the present moment. I'm not allowing it to live fully. So therefore my life is not full and complete. I'm always looking for something more. And that's the little me that does that. So in that case, our goal setting and our future fantasizing and our dreaming can be considered problematic if it is done for the service of little me rather than the true self, and if it's done to help us escape from the reality of our present moment. When is it okay to dream and fantasize and you set future goals? Well, the mind is here. It's a tool we have, and it helps us to live normal and healthy lives, because a big part of us is not only the being, it's the human, and humans have things to do. So for planning purposes and for changing our trajectory of our karma, for example, it's okay to set goals. We want healthy, wholesome goals. If we're used to running around in habitual tendencies and compulsive tendencies, and addictions, or not even consciously aware of what we're doing, and we end up hurting people, end up hurting ourselves, of course it's okay to set goals to do things differently in the future. We learn from what is right now, and we can set goals to do things differently. And that starts in this moment. So it is okay, in a sense, to set goals and to fantasize about life being different, as long as we don't get lost in it, and long as we do it for the benefit of the realization of the true self. So yes, we can set goals and we can dream. And the goals and dreams that we should have, I don't want to use the word should, but that would be best suited for us and most wholesome, will be goals and dreams that allow us to set out with the focus on becoming self-realized and self-actualized, without, it may also involve losing this idea we have of little me and putting that aside so the greater self can shine through, and the greater self is all based on unity and connection to all and everyone. When our focus is not so much on little me, but on the benefit and the well-being of others and the world, then for sure these fantasies are nothing but pure and wholesome and far from problematic. So that's what I have to say about that. I hope that makes sense, and I thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and namaste.